are back here, Elk River, Minnesota, ERX Motor Park, and if I sing the praises of this place, there are many good reasons for that. One, look at what ERX Motor Park does for the sports they host here at this facility. ERX did not have to step up and fill the void in our schedule to give us another national, but they did. And not only did they do that for Amsoil Championship Snowcross, but they actually did that this last summer for Championship Off-Road. Of course, short course off-road racing, the national circuit, takes place just on the other side of the property over there. Looking forward to getting back to that in a few weeks, but also as we embark on our U.S. Air Force pit walk here, take a look around these pits and see how many racers grew up racing here at ERX Motor Park. Take a look at how many racers and their families uprooted and moved to Minnesota to be able to practice here. And not only that, but our racers from overseas and Canada have come to this area for the snowcross season to practice here at their practice track. It's world class, so ERX Motor Park, they do it so proper when it comes to national events and even some of their regional events. They have hair scrambles, concerts, so much goes on here. So we're pumped to be back. Let's take a little walk through the pits here. Starting out, first and foremost, we have our reigning champion, Elias Ishul. He has won 7 of 10 main events. That puts him as, quite obviously, our points leader heading into this weekend. He has not been off the box since Deadwood, so he's been rather consistent as far as wins go and podium finishes in general. And Jordan LaBelle, he was our first repeat winner in the Pro Light class just a few weeks ago in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, twice now. Both times he has won, he has had 1-1-1 on the day, won both of his qualifiers, went on to win the final. So Jordan LaBelle, certainly a guy to beat in Pro Light. Just up next here we have Henches Racing, and Oscar, he had said that Sioux Falls, he just has to be happy with the small stuff. It wasn't the results he wanted, came away with an 8th and an 8th for finals that weekend. So just a good, he gathered some points that weekend, but not where he wants to be. So it's a mental game of, you just got to take the small gains when you can. But Oscar Norm, he's certainly a force to be reckoned with as well in the pro class. And we also have Cody Camp, who made a considerable jump in the points race. He jumped up 2 spots after Sioux Falls. He now finds himself sitting second in the points championship. On to, hey Joe, Harmonica Joe. Warner Racing's up next. We welcome the return of Dan Benham this weekend for the pro class. Again, he didn't have to have surgery. He had, I believe it was a torn PCL and partially torn MCL. So he's back in action this weekend. It's so pumped to have Dan. And we have Francis Pelletier, who had back-to-back podiums, a 2nd and a 3rd in Sioux Falls. Francis says he is so happy with how this season is shaping up. He's really finding his groove here, his rookie year in the pro class. Pitted right next to them, we have Shearing Speed Sports. Hunter Patnode on Saturday night in Sioux Falls just a few weeks ago made it back on the podium where he finished 2nd. And that was a breath of fresh air for him because he had not been on the box in some time. He had said when we spoke with him in Fargo about a month ago that it's been a humbling year for him, his rookie year. He came out swinging and actually took the red plate away from ERX Motor Park after the first 2 rounds. To be back on the box, that was good. And Hunter, he's a man who is not afraid to put in the hard work. He works so hard, so it's good to see it paying dividends for him. And rejoining the field, actually, Matt Lamorier. One of their satellite riders, he was injured, a hand injury. He originally wasn't going to be able to make it back until Sioux Falls, the finale, but he says he's feeling great. He actually has some practice laps on his wrist, so he is back in action here this weekend. Pitted right next to Shearing Speed Sports, we have Team LaValle Polaris. Kyle Pauline had his 2nd career win Friday night in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So that was so exciting for Kyle. It's been a long time coming. I believe it was a 5-year dry spell for win since his first one. So that was very exciting for him. And also for Team LaValle, he continues to be your points leader. He's led the points for some time now. Adam Peterson, he is 42 points gap over 2nd, and actually since Fargo, he has not been on the podium since Fargo, but he's been flirting with podium positions, had a 4th and a 5th in Sioux Falls. And next to them, we have, how you doing, guys? Look who's back!
I know.
Jordan, what's up?
How's it going?
Good, you?
Pretty good.
How's the injury?
Super solid, feeling good.
Yeah.
Rode a little bit last week, and yeah, we're solid, ready to go.
That's awesome. Now, it didn't require surgery or anything.
No,
it was a broken vertebrae?
Cracked my vertebrae, broke my transverse process, broke a rib, and bruised my lungs. But
gosh,
it all healed up really quick, and we're good to go now.
And I'm meaning to catch up with you. So you, of course, you are so well known for your motocross career. You went, you just tore it up at Loretta's. But if I think he was telling me that your dream is to race snowmobiles.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things. opportunity arose, and it's like, why not? Let's go out and run it.
Wow.
Yeah, here we are.
Amazing. You're gonna be running the rest of the season with Zanstra?
Yes, yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good deal. Well, it's good to have you back here,
Yeah,
and we look forward to seeing what you can do.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jordan, he is the kid with the fro. They're gonna call him. Look at that hair. We're so glad to have him here. Of course, a very decorated motocross career. He put on an absolute show at Loretta Lynn's this year. So dream to race snowmobiles. He's one of our Wisconsin runners. Next, we have Judnick. I was catching up with Nick Lorenz, who he's doing well. He says his wrist, which he had broken in Sioux Falls, got landed on by another rider, didn't require surgery, but he said he's starting to get mobility back in his wrist. In fact, he said he was probably good to ride and even practice this week, but you know, it's risk versus reward. Do I want to ride and be in a lot of pain, cause more damage to it? No. So he's going to rest up. He will be back, it sounds like. Tentatively, he's going to be back in Eagle River in a few weeks, but Nick Lorenz, he's out here this weekend hanging out with the Jugnet team, but just getting all rested and recuperated for the upcoming rounds. His teammate, Emil Har, also he's the ERX is their home track, so they're always out here practicing. And I was catching up with Emil, and I said, okay, it's that point in the season where actually ERX isn't offering practice anymore the rest of the season. I said, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And he said, you know, at this point in the season, they had so much time on the sleds. Riders are starting to get a little bit beat up. So he said, in a way, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. So it was a good chat with Emil Har. That interview is coming soon. Christian brothers, devastating news coming out of last week. Logan Christian had broken his ankle in a practice crash. So Logan Christian, get well soon. Logan had been putting together a very solid year, a couple of podiums. So that was a very, very devastating news to see. So Logan Christian, looking forward to having you back soon. Up next, we have Cole Coutu and Travis Kern for Coutu Motorsports. Travis Kern, he was up on the box in Sioux Falls as well. So a rider who's been up there, but again, really seemed to be finding his stride here in the latter half of the season. And up next, Thien, Aki Palaya pro rider. He was seen out practicing at their private practice track, actually, with his teammate Emmerich, as well as Elias Ischel and Jordan LaBelle from Boss Racing. And Emmerich actually had a big win Friday in Sioux Falls. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that might have been his first win of the year in sport. Don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, a big win for Emmerich Perrin, one of our Canadian runners. And we see Travis Muller back in action. We are glad to see it. One of our Southern Minnesota riders. He's back this weekend. We're going to shift gears over to this side of the pits here. We have some traffic. Megan Broder, her dad Patrick, who is one of her main mechanics and been such a big part of her program, he's not able to make it this weekend. So Megan working with a different mechanic. Of course, Megan carrying that shiny red 31 plate. Pitted right next to Anderson Racing. Oh, and by the way, Cameron Anderson still continues to recover with his knee injury that he sustained earlier this season. So looking forward to seeing him back. I don't know if that's going to be this season. I don't believe it is. But nonetheless, wishing him a speedy recovery still. Pitted right next to them, Fratalones. Eric Downs, quick note on him. He is in high school, senior in high school, a full-time racer. He actually has snow guns and a groomer at his house. So between being a racer full-time, being in high school, he still manages to be able to put together a practice track. And ERX is the home track for Fratalone Racing, but they're actually been turning practice laps at Eric's track at his house. So that's very cool. KC Motorsports, Evan Dow, of course, he had a podium, actually a big win in Fargo a few weeks ago. Pitted right next to them, we have Kraychek and Woody's Racing at the end here. But let's take a walk through here and get onto the track. I want to show you what's in store. This is exciting. And this one actually kind of snuck out. The Snowbike Cowboy Showtime. Jesse Kirchmeier, current points leader. He had actually planned to go and race pro snowcross in Sioux Falls, but unfortunately he got landed on in first Moto 1 on Friday, and he was hurting. He was able to go out there and still salvage a race for pro snowbike. Found himself on the podium both days, but he was hurt, and he said, I just need to preserve myself for snowbike, his championship on the line. So that's what he's doing. I haven't heard if he's going to be back on the snowmobile. I believe that's been the plan, but we'll see how he's doing post Sioux Falls injury. So we're actually getting ready to go with one of our first practice sessions of the day. So I'll be quick here. We see some riders just closing up their pit walks, or I'm sorry, their track walks, taking their first look of the day, and completely different track layout than we saw for rounds 1 and 2. Kind of like what they did with Salt Lake City and Supercross in 2020, gave us a whole different course. It's really a blank canvas here at ERX. They have the capabilities to tear this thing up, give us a beautiful race course. Andrew Carlson, he is a former pro snowcross racer. He's a current Pro 4 off-road driver, and this is his family's facility. They co-own it with the Plaisted family. You know, Plaisted Racing, Taylor Cole, Cam Cole. So both two families synonymous with professional snowcross racing. Andrew Carlson and his dad, Chris Carlson, designed this course. So Andrew, we caught an interview with him. Be sure to check it out on our social media. Was talking about how it was a lot of drawing on napkins. They have to work around the pumper pond, which actually fuels the snow guns. It feeds them. So that's how they're able to produce their snow here. That was the biggest obstacle they had to work around. So how do they build a track around that? They gave us this triangular course, and one thing that the riders are really excited about is the corners here. They are so wide, at least 3 solid lines in each of these corners here. So we still have a longer hole shot. Looks like it started up maybe a bit closer towards the hole shot turn than it was rounds 1 and 2. Not by much, but still a very long hole shot here. This track, I know a lot of riders are very excited about it. Nonetheless, to see a whole new track. Can't say enough about the Plaisted and Carlson family for not only giving us this national, but giving us a fresh, brand spanking new course to run on. So that does it. This is your U.S. Air Force pit walk and a little glimpse at the track. So if you're in the area, please come on out to the event. Tickets are limited, so be sure to check online. We do hope to see you here. If not, be sure to tune in all weekend long on Snocross Live.